2016 forecast. You have an extended love forecast in this reading, followed by your general forecast. We're going to start with your love forecast. The first card that came up says that there is a path to happiness, but you have to find it. Your reading in general speaks of something which has come up, which may have thrown you a little bit off kilter, off balance, where your love and relationships or partnerships are concerned. But there is a path to happiness. This first card reminds you there's a path to happiness. Keep a lookout for it. Then there's the card that says some kind of promise or proposal or commitment is coming up in the future. So regardless of what is happening now or could possibly be happening very soon in your relationships, there is promise for the future. There is a promise of a long-term commitment in the future. There is love and friendship and even new connections all coming into your life now. So you need to get ready to receive and to give from your heart, because light is entering your relationship zone. So there's this promise here, this potential in the future that you need to keep one eye on in your present situation. Because then your reading takes a little bit more of a serious turn. What comes up for your challenge is that you're about to get the answer or the key to a situation that will unlock the situation that has been holding you back or making you feel stuck in some way. There is something in your love and relationships or partnerships that has been holding you down. That's actually probably more the words I want to use. And to remember that you can't change other people, regardless of how much you want to. And that whatever is happening between you and that person, remember that universe, spirit, God orchestrated this. The situation was created by the universe to teach you something, to show you something. And the quicker you see that something, learn the lesson, in other words, the quicker you can move on from this. Love unconditionally, and the evolving will take much less time than if you cling to that resentment or cling to that old idea or cling to doing things your way. I know love unconditionally for us humans is actually almost impossible, but try to do it. Then what you don't know is, and once again it's the same as that, the first two cards that come up, there is this promise in the future. There will be victory, success and happiness coming into your long-term relationships and partnerships. But you need to take that long-term perspective. What is happening right now is about now. It's not about the future. So deal with now as if it is now. Don't get stuck in it. And listen with your heart. Listening with your heart is not listening with your feelings. That's a different thing. Listen with your heart center to the situation, to what's really going on here. Because in there lies the answer to the situation. And your next step is going to be, and once again it's reminding you, it keeps reminding you that abundance will come in again. Abundance will come into your partnerships and relationships. Behave as if they will. Don't behave as if what's happening now is forever. It's not forever. It's now, and it's a situation which is going to be for now, and it has to be dealt with for now. The saying that came up with that milk and honey card says, let your thoughts and feelings be sweet with gratitude, and you will be nourished with abundance. There's this continual reminder of abundance coming into your life. So keep your eye on the ball of the future. Deal with what has to be dealt with now. There's no getting away with it. You're not going to get away with it anyway. Whatever the situation is that has cropped up in your partnerships or relationships, it is going to have to be dealt with. The thing is not to get bogged down by it, not to get resentful, not to try and change people, to deal with it as best you can, because the future holds a lot of promise. Your outcome then says, your relationship or partnership is then going to expand. It's going to broaden. It's going to reach new horizons, possibly even get excitement in it. And you will deal with unfinished business. You will say what needs to be said, and you will do what needs to be done to get closure, which is very, very important. When we don't get closure on a situation or something that's been said or done by someone, or when we feel we've been wronged, then that builds up resentment in future. And it's that resentment which can get rid of that abundance that is promised in the future. As for new relationships coming in, there seems to be a promise of it, but there seems to be more with dealing with what's in your life at the moment for most of you. We'll have to see once you get past February, for those of you that are single, what exactly is going on here. Now, your guidance says that, well, the volcano speaks of a situation that was brewing and now it's going pop and now it's being dealt with. This can tend to sometimes make people a bit fearful when these things are said, but it's not always like that. It doesn't need to be a huge explosive situation. It can just be something which throws things a little off their normal path and leaves you having to deal with it. Or it could be something big that you feel is big. Now, the thing here to do is to rely on inner wisdom. Even speak to somebody older, a parent, a grandparent, someone who is older and wiser. They can give you advice on how to deal with this. We've been through these kind of situations already and can just help you sort of weave your way through it. The activation card also speaks about a situation which you may have let roll for a while, which you may have turned a blind eye to, swept under the carpet, or not dealt with because you feel you don't want to, or the timing isn't right, or you don't feel like the repercussions of it. But the time has come now where you are going to have to deal with it. You're going to have to man up, as they say, and deal with the situation. So that is your relationship and love reading, Virgo. Now let's move on to your general forecast reading. Now, this also says you're about to learn the truth. Okay? And you need to accept that this information arrives in the divinely appropriate time. So here we go again. You're being told this again. Whatever the situation is, whatever it is that you learn about somebody or see in someone, it was delivered to you for a reason. It was delivered so that you will know the truth. And as they say, the truth always sets you free. This brings new energy into your relationship, which gives you the opportunity to make new choices. Don't judge others, because this is your journey and your lesson. That's what's important here. Judging others is not going to solve the problem, and you are not going to learn the very important lesson in your evolution if you are busy judging other people. And this lesson is going to bring you wisdom that will extend far into your life. And it will somehow create abundant opportunities. That's showing up in your love and partnership reading as well. Once again, you're being reminded of that. Now, your challenge is, here we come again, do not ignore what needs to be done. Deal with it. It's in everyone's highest good, and you need to deal with it so that it is in everyone's highest good. So, you have to deal with this, with that unconditional love, with that sight on the future, and with wisdom and patience and just general love for everybody. It's going to be very important here. You have the opportunity to turn a negative into a positive here. So focus your thoughts on the long term and create a plan of action here. Once again, you're being reminded about the long term. So what is important here is whatever action you take, know that this is for the long run. This is setting the way, paving the way for the long term. So it's up to you to manage this properly, to deal with it effectively and properly. You can actually create something amazing from this. So that's something to really keep in mind. You have the opportunity here, the potential here, to make a purse out of a sow's ear. That's one way of putting it. And to keep a wider perspective, to keep the future goal in mind. Now, your outcome is that you need to look after yourself. Okay? You need to nurture yourself on all levels. Look after your health. It's very important. To look after the health of your mind. That's equally important. Don't feed your mind junk. It is as important as what you're feeding your body. But looking after yourself here is important. So if you need to take time out, if you need to rest, if you need to do something to make your mind think of good, positive things, then make the effort to go and do that. This gives you the potential and the opportunity to deal with things effectively. We all know that. Nurture yourself and you can deal with things effectively. And then also choose an environment that supports you. So hang out with people that lift you, that bring you up, that feed you good vibes and good news and good energy. Okay? That's also important. Things will now change. There's no two things about it, but good fortune will follow. And you will find closure on a situation and know that the future holds promise. And that closure on whatever the situation is opens up all sorts of opportunities for you. Now your guidance is interesting because not only did you have the fated card, but here you have two cards which speak about fate. So there's really a strong feeling of a fated situation here. The karmic card speaks of your DNA being one strand, what you've carried through generations, which is fate, and one strand which you can shape and mold, that's destiny. So this situation that is coming up now is something that has actually been in your familial heritage for thousands of years. This is a pattern repeating itself. Now you can continue that pattern, so you can react to the situation instead of responding to the situation. And you can carry on this pattern. Or you can choose to deal with this with unconditional love, with no judgment, and an eye to the long term and the future, and you can change this. You can create a new destiny. Or you can just react to it, as I said, and let it carry on for another 1,000 years. Okay, so it's important these situations or these opportunities are important to you. You can be a game changer for future generations, in fact. Keep that in mind. Now your soul path says to change course, to create a new path, to set that course, to be disciplined about setting off on that course and to stick to that course. So this is being reiterated, underlined. You need to set a new course in your life. And it's not just your life, it's going into your DNA as well. Take a good look at what motivates you, because this sets the course of your life. It hugely sets the course of your life. The final card says you do have the wind at your back. Do what you need to do, what you know you need to do. Explore, dream, and discover. And this is on many levels. This is on a mental and a physical and a spiritual level. In all cases, when we get too stuck and too complacent, even if that complacency is not a happy complacency, life will deal us a good old-fashioned kick in the derriere to move us to explore again, to find new frontiers on all those levels. And that could very possibly be what Virgo has been given this month. Right, so that was your February 2016 reading, Virgo. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching and listening.